What is going on, college basketball fans? Today we're going to be talking about some Texas basketball because they got two massive pickups in the transfer portal. But I want to talk about, is it going to be enough to keep Texas as a contender for the national championship next season? I'm ready to get started. Just want to say subscribe if you guys are new. Hit that like button. Tons of college basketball, college football content coming here real soon. Let's get it started. The two big names that they got out of the transfer portal here recently was Max Abmas and also Caden Shedrick. Two huge pickups. And if they did not get these guys, I would be worried about Texas basketball next season. We'll get to all the players that they lost so far this offseason and what their projected starting lineup is looking like and what I think about head coach Rodney Terry and his first offseason as the head coach of the Texas Longhorns. So they picked up Max Abmas, super good pick. He averaged 22 points per game this past season at Oral Roberts, led them to two March Madness appearances and a Sweet 16 appearance back in 2020 as a 15 seed. It was a super good run. We all know midcourt Max is like that, and he is going to be replacing Marcus Carr for this Texas team at the point guard position. I think it is an amazing pickup. I think he is easily a top 5, probably a top 2 or 3 player that has entered the transfer portal this offseason. So I think it's an amazing pickup. He is going to be awesome to watch in the Big 12, the best conference in college basketball, where he belongs, because he is a superstar player. Their other pickup was Caden Shedrick, the transfer out of Virginia. Now, Caden Shedrick, he only averaged about 7 points per game and a few rebounds per game, and he was a X-factor kind of player on that Virginia team last season, but he still has a good amount of potential, and I think he fits this Texas team pretty well, and I think that Rodney Terry is actually going to do some offseason work with Caden Shedrick and make him a very valuable piece to this team because he can rebound, he can score as a big in the post, and that's kind of what Texas had a lot last year. He's probably going to play that Timmy Allen type role, that Christian Bishop type role, and just kind of play off the pick and rolls, catch it in the high post. He can score in the post. I think that he is going to be a super good player for this Texas team, and it's a very good pickup, very good fit. So the key losses that Texas has had this offseason, and there are quite a bit, which is why I'm a little bit worried about this Texas basketball team. I think they're still going to be an NCAA tournament team 100%. They are still going to be a pretty good team in this stacked Big 12 conference, but are they going to be a top 3 or 4 seed and be competing for a national championship? That I don't think they're going to be on that level like they were last season. So their key losses from last season going into this next season: Marcus Carr, huge loss at the point guard position. They did replace him with Max Abmas, so that was a good replacement there. Max Abmas is going to be able to handle that production, if not more. They also lost Serge Rice, 6th man of the year in college basketball last year. Super good player, and that is a huge loss. Scoring, defense, he brought it all. Serge Rice was the real deal. Losing Timmy Allen, all these guys are graduating, they're done, have no more eligibility. Timmy Allen, he was also a really good player, a guy who can score in the post, grab some rebounds for you at the forward position. And Christian Bishop, another bench player that they are losing, who is a really athletic guy and a really key player off the bench for this Texas team. They also just lost Arterio Morris. He's been in the portal for quite a little bit now, but now he has officially committed to Kansas, which is also in the Big 12. So that is a huge loss for this Texas team right now, because Arterio Morris, although he didn't have the biggest role last season, he was starting to become a really key piece off the bench for this Texas team last year and a really good shooter. So I think he would have had a much bigger role next year for this Texas team, and he's going to be really good on Kansas. So that is a big loss in the transfer portal for this Texas team. They also are potentially losing Dylan Mitchell and also Tyrese Hunter to the NBA draft. Now, I do think that both of these players will return for this Texas team next season, but there is a possibility that they are going to enter the draft because they are testing the NBA draft waters right now while maintaining their eligibility. Like I said, I think they're both going to return, but we will have to find out, because if those two players do not return, then this Texas team is really in trouble for next season. Now, they still have some really good players. Still got Max Abmas, a superstar on your team. They're still going to be really good, but losing Tyrese Hunter and Dylan Mitchell will hurt this team a lot because they are already a little bit thin when it comes to their depth. They also lost their 2 5-star recruits that they had coming in this next season that were going to be freshmen. That is Ron Holland, who just decommitted yesterday, and also A.J. Johnson, who decommitted a couple of weeks ago. Now, both their 5-star recruits decommitted. A.J. Johnson is going to go play pro ball, like a lot of top recruits have been doing. It's a good way to perform well in the pro leagues and then go on to the NBA draft there. Ron Holland, not sure what he's going to do yet. He may go play pro ball. He may commit to a new school, but he is not going to be playing for the Texas Longhorns next season. So those are 2 5-star recruits lost here this offseason as well. So although Rodney Terry has had a pretty good transfer portal offseason, lost Arterio Morris, but still gained Max Abmas and Caden Shedrick. He lost the 2 5-star recruits. He may be losing a few players to the NBA draft, which is not his fault. And of course, he lost all those key players that just graduated, have no more eligibility. That's not his fault either. But to lose those recruits, that right there hurts. And you got to try to keep Arterio Morris the best you can, because he was going to be a big part of this team next year. In my opinion, I think so. So let me know what you guys think about Rodney Terry in his first offseason. But he did show that he can take a team pretty deep into the tournament. I mean, he won the Big 12 tournament championship. That is impressive. They had to play some tough teams. And then they made it all the way to the Elite Eight in March Madness. Like, Rodney Terry, he's proven that he can win games and get deep into the tournament. Let's see what he does with a still a really good team. I'm going to go over the starting 5 here in a minute, but definitely a lot less depth on this team than last year. So at point guard, of course, they have Max Abmas. At shooting guard, they do have Tyrese Hunter, who I expect to take a big jump this year. I think a lot of people were expecting more from Tyrese Hunter last season after how good he was at Iowa State that first year. He was still good last year, but I think people were expecting a little bit more. Let's see if he takes that jump this year. I don't think he's going to go follow through with the NBA draft. I think he will be back. Same thing with Dylan Mitchell. I think he will be the starter at small forward once again for this Texas team. Very athletic guy. Let's see if over the offseason he works on a jump shot. If he can get that 3 ball, then he can be a top draft pick next year. He's just missing that jump shot. Let's see if he can knock it down. I have him here at the small forward for the Texas Longhorns next season. At power forward, they have Dylan Disu, and Dylan Disu, he showed a lot of promise on this Texas team throughout the first 2 rounds of the March Madness tournament before he went down with an injury. So Dylan Disu, returning for his 5th year of eligibility, I think he is going to be key on this team down low, and he can be like a breakout star next season for this Texas team. And then at center, they have the transfer from Virginia, Caden Shedrick, who is an awesome pickup, 6'11" guy. He can be a really good center for this team as well. And on the bench, you really only have one experienced bench player coming back on this Texas team, and that is Brock Cunningham. Other than that, you are relying on a lot of sophomores that did not get a lot of minutes last year that are going to have to get the majority of your bench minutes on this team. But we have seen some teams that did not have that great of a bench do pretty good in the tournament this year. One that comes to mind is Creighton last season. They did not have that great of a bench at all last season, but they were still able to make the Elite Eight themselves. So they still have a very solid starting 5. Brock Cunningham, their only really good bench player at this point. Let's see if maybe Rodney Terry tries to get another guy out of the transfer portal to come give him some good minutes off the bench, because you're going to need some depth playing in the brutal Big 12 conference. So let me know what you guys think about Texas's offseason. Obviously, really good pickups. I think A-plus pickups, especially for Max Abmas and Caden Shedrick, a really good pickup as well for this team. Definitely much needed on this roster. If Tyrese Hunter and Dylan Mitchell they do have their eligibility, if they do return to Texas this next season, what seed do you see Texas getting next season? How good do you think they are going to be under Rodney Terry's first full year as the Texas Longhorns head coach after his first off season? I'm excited to hear what you guys think about it. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you so much for watching.